1, 2. There we go. So we're live. Too easy. Hey guys, thanks for checking it out. So we are doing this this new Militia Fitness podcast with JB, Zilla, and the Maine. Nice and simple. These two, I got these. Look at these gorillas of humans. And as if they weren't already bigger than I am, I'm like angling myself off at the end of this table with a computer in front of me. So
it's nice.
So I'm trying to make this happen. So the reason we got this thing started was, man, I've been asked a bunch, and we often get asked questions kind of in long form that a long form conversation would do a better job for. Hold on, I'm hurting this thing's feelings. Like I said, look around this room. Does this look like we got this figured out? We know how to talk and lift weights. All right, there we go. You might be wondering why my mic is bigger than theirs, and mostly it's because I'm better than both of them. But it's because Best Buy only had one.
Size us out.
Yeah, I'm trying to, you know what I mean. If you don't, size is the prize. So the reason we wanted to start this is we wanted to be able to try to give back, give a long-form education from Militia Fitness's point of view on how we feel about certain things and different topics and from training-wise and across the board, and really just to entertain, inform you guys, have some fun. And so when we were thinking of the best way to do this, we thought, I'm obviously one of the owners, and the other owners are super amazing guys. As their schedules permit, they'll be showing back up and hopping in on this thing. Their schedules are less flexible during this time frame, this time of day, and so as they can make it in, they will. I'll be here every week, and then we wanted to get one of our long-standing team leaders here. So we got like an owner, a team leader from the gym that's been at the gym forever, Jermaine, and then needs no explanation, a high-level athlete we have here of Rob. His hair is always
perfect.
Well, yeah, there's no better word than perfect. Let's just, perfect. Yeah, look at him. He's turning nice and red over there. So I'm going to give a little background on the gym in a minute, but before that, probably without further ado, I'm Jordan Bowen. I was prior service pararescueman. My wife and I founded Militia Fitness in 2009, and we've since been able to take on 4 more incredible partners and their wives who are all amazing people, and we've had a lot of success, trained a lot of athletes here, and been able to really enjoy what we're doing and make a difference. And my man Jermaine?
My name's Jermaine Donson, prior Air Force. I retired out of Air Force.
Why are you yelling, Jermaine? I'm kidding.
Am I yelling?
No, I need you to, though. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. My bad. So, I started here in 2011, around. I don't know what month, but been here ever since. I've been consistent. Love the community. Love Jordan and everybody else. And still here. I don't plan on going anywhere.
Right on, man.
Hey, I'm Rob. I came in 03, active duty Green Beret. I met Jordan in August of 13 when Scott was here on a Saturday workout. And I got to say, for the last almost decade, I'm better for having come here, and I really don't want to go anywhere else.
No doubt, man. It means a lot. And are you allowed to say what your profession is?
I can say Green Beret, yeah.
So he's a Green Beret, and then he's working.
He's a civilian.
Yeah, he's a civilian now. Retired military, and then prior service myself. But and then if you guys didn't catch it, I did. I probably could play it back. But the way he said August he's some asshole, right? So,
true story.
Yeah, he can't help himself. Cool, man. So, kind of from a flow standpoint, one of the questions we just had on the mindset report right before this was, how do you pull yourself out of that hole? That scenario when you guys are in and you losing confidence is the word. And so funny, confidence is a funny thing. Sometimes you're the best in the world, and sometimes, man, you don't feel like jack business. You know what I mean? So what's your thoughts on that?
So first and foremost, I delineate professional and personal. Personal, I go right to my faith. I either decide that it's my job to ask the man for the path for me, or to illuminate what I should be doing with that. Professionally, I have an occupation where I'm not allowed to quit. There's just a ton of people that rely on me to not short step, to not meet substandard and always exceed it. So if I'm feeling sorry for myself, I look left and right and see that somebody else is accountable for, and I'm accountable to them to get my sorry ass picked up and start moving forward. And that's just that simple.
And what's funny, man, is I think personally the same thing can be true too, right? And so not a Militia Fitness plug, but community's a big deal, right? And so it's our first value, and that's the same thing that that's gonna be true everywhere, man. Right? And so you got to find a sense of community that's gonna help. You feel vulnerable enough that you can tell somebody, and like Grant, dude, props on you, by the way, for having the willingness to say like you're in a slump and put that up, because that's going to help a lot of people, and it takes a lot of balls. So like from a confidence standpoint, you should be pretty confident. Yeah, it takes
also
guts.
I'd say don't compare yourself to the next person.
Yeah,
because like if you're trying to keep up with someone and they're just crushing you all the time, your confidence might go down. So like do what you can do.
Yeah,
you know
for sure. For sure.
If I compare myself to Rob, I'll never. I mean, I feel like shit all the time. So like, I gotta do what I can do, on my level, and then just be consistent with that. You know what I mean? And then it come back eventually. So when you get in slumps, just keep moving. Don't stop.
That's it.
Get frustrated.
Yeah, Jermaine doesn't take pre-workout, which is like
I don't know how he wakes up.
Yeah, so I was like asking him one day. I was asking him one day, and I was like, yeah, man, so you don't take pre-workout? It's like, no. I'm like, so what do you do like on days when you absolutely don't feel like working out? He's like, I just come work out. And I'm like, fuck yeah, you do.
Yep.
Right.
I think I have been taking pre-workout 5 or 6 times a week for 2 decades.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, wow.
Since it was
it's like
thing.
oxygen, yeah.
Yeah, when it first came out, like Jack 3D was the first one. Remember, it showed up on the scene, and I remember people were like showing up, and they're like, "What do you think about Jack 3D?" And I didn't know anything about it. I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, they like brought it in. I'm like, I don't know. This might give you a heart attack.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, ears tingling, balls tingling. I didn't like that feeling at all, man. So it's just, it just depends.
You got caught up on the tingling down under, huh? No Australian tingles for you.
But every long now and again, I'll try it. But
yeah,
I've never consistently taken pre-workout. It's just
that's it. Jermaine's that's a tough cat though. He'll wake up and he comes at 5:30 in the morning and has as long as I can remember. And I think you had like a little brief moment real early on at like a 9:30 or 11:30 lunch class. But man, if it's been 5:30 for a hot minute,
long time.
Because you've been at the gym since what, 2010?
10, 11. I think it might have been
in the
10.
middle gym, so
yeah. So
yeah, it could have been 11 possibly, but yeah, we came over here in July of 12 to this location. So yeah, it could have been 10.
It might have been 10.
Good enough, man. I need to dig out. I got some old photos of him,
Man, you can leave them right where they at.
Yeah, boy. His arms like about half that size. You know what I mean? Like it's incredible, man. Yeah.
I mean,
because we got challenge photos and stuff, or like now we do the on-target assessment, right? And so, hey, even if you guys aren't at the M, I suggest that you guys do this. If you're at the M, easy enough, come see us. So next week it'll be Thursday and Friday, but the first full Thursday and Friday of every month we do the on-target assessment where you show up, we measure you, and we take photos of you. And like crazy enough, we weren't even sure like how well this would go when we first started it. You know what I mean? Like, are people gonna want to constantly do that? What's the outcome of that? Like how, psychologically is that gonna help people? And man, it's been tremendous. It's people definitely, like, the people that don't want to do it don't do it, and that's fine. The people that do want to do it are really enjoying it because, like if you got 3 months of progress and then you get work busy and then you start to lose progress in that month, well, you're not disheartened, but you are come to the realization that like, okay, what I did this month didn't move me positively to where I want to go. And so then you can make adjustments in the months moving forward and see if you can get back on track. So it's pretty neat. But if you're not at the I suggest you do the same thing. Figure out, a set day each month that you'll measure and take photos of yourself, because the truth is like in your mental image, do you feel like you're about the same size as you were before?
Yes.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Right. So that you're bigger.
I know I'm bigger.
But like when you walk into a room, you almost feel similar.
Right. I don't feel like I'm, really that built. I feel like, whatever. I'm all right.
Yeah. We don't feel that way ourselves when we look at you. But like I said, I couldn't have put these arms in a worse location. It wouldn't have mattered if I was on the other side of Jermaine, but fucking Jermaine. Yeah, man. So like that's the thing is, I weigh close to 200 pounds, but like quite often, like when you think about the space you feel, like you almost like convert back to like high school or whatever time frame you were on like what size you are, and so from that confidence standpoint, kind of your initial question too, bro, was track that stuff and keep it about yourself, right? Like I'm not as big as Rob or Jermaine. I'm much better looking than both of them, and you can't fix that. You know what I mean? You can't fix faces. But,
true story. That jawline's impeccable.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's it. Go on. Right? So, you know, you either got it or you don't. I'm the best I ever was, but I'm not their size. But I don't really care about that. I care about my progress in fitness. And if you, I think Jermaine hit the nail on the head, man. If you get caught up in where do I stand next to this guy, like that's gonna be. What's up, brother?
Oh, yeah.
Saw my man trick or treating last night.
Yeah,
bro.
tell who it was.
Yeah, man. At a glance. At a glance.
Later.
This should all be audio and video synced up. If not, if this ends up being audio only, one of our members came through and we ran into each other trick or treating. That's a cool spot. I gotta tell you all about that. But dude, compared to yourself's a big deal. I agree, Jermaine. That's money. And try to enjoy the process, man. So like sometimes when you're at a down, no sweat. Like when I was helping Santi and Schiff both get their gyms going, right? So we're grinding in Pensacola and grinding in Crestview at the same time. I had about like 8 weeks where I almost ate like 1 meal a day and would try to get a workout in, but like the sense of a workout was like still on my mind, was like I need to go get this stuff done right now. So like you're just kind of getting through it at the time. And yeah, man, like as soon as I got to the end of that 8 weeks, it's like, all right, now I'm like reinvigorated at like what a terrible job I did over the past 8 weeks before that, like getting fit. And so I just parlayed that into cool, well now I'm gonna go extra effort on what I'm doing. And so yeah, man, just use the dark ages for your own renaissance. You know what I mean? Keep it about yourself.
Yeah, professionally, something that we use that works really well in a bunch of different organizations. It's called Cotter's Model for Change. It's an 8-step process. So at any point throughout wherever you are in the spectrum of winning, losing, or indifferent, it just starts with establishing short-term win, building a guided coalition. And then there's some other steps that will help codify metrics that is solely you versus you and where you want to end up. And it all starts with looking at what you want to be, and then backwards planning on how we're going to get you there. And the reason I say we is you have to have either accountability partners, a guided coalition, peers left and right, they're going to drive you, or somebody that can help you when you are feeling subservient to yourself or not good enough to tell you that you are making progress. And the biggest thing is never truly feeling like you bottom out, so you're always pushing forward. As soon as you admit defeat, you have to then progress, and having individuals around you that are going to enable that success is critical to actually getting that success. But again, so the points, it's 100% you v you.
Yeah.
You can use other people as a standard or a metric to hold against, but they may be more time invested, more nutrition invested, more recovery invested. They may not have wife, life, family, kids, things that you don't see, the other
Right.
23 hours a day, the intangibles you can't control,
Right.
that you're comparing against. It's not a valid assessment.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're going to compare, make it like true science, meaning, so you need the same controls and variables, right? So like, you know, if I'm a 34-year-old male working with the multiple gyms and the kids and everything else, and you take the amount of time I got, well, I can't compare myself against somebody that's not in that standard, right? So I need to find me another 34-year-old male that's you know, running a couple companies with his crew and is trying to be the absolute best father he can be and best husband he can be and best at jiu-jitsu and working out he can be, and then put all that together and see what the outcome is. And I'm probably kicking his ass. So if you're going to compare, make sure that you're going to compare realistically to who it is that you're running with, because everybody has different backgrounds and different, you know, settings that are going to cause that.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. What'd you guys do for trick-or-treating? I'm going to post up, somehow I'm going to figure out how to post up a picture right now of Rob and his outfit.
All right, so Giada, right? So I have a 2-year-old, almost 2.5-year-old daughter. So she's big into Peter Pan. Blake, man, he's almost 5, big into Peter Pan. Wifey, huge into Peter Pan.
Yeah.
So she's Peter Pan.
No double entendres intended there.
Yeah,
right?
so pun intended, Tinker Buff became a real thing. I went from joke to Amazon boxes on my side of the bed.
Yeah.
Me thinking like, cool, Kel, just was doing laundry or something on that side. That's a pretty cool green outfit. Like, she's
Right.
gonna be a smoking Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
Right.
Joke's on me. I come home from work yesterday, like, hey, baby, can you put in your costume? Like, yeah, where is it? Thinking I'm a pirate or like
Yeah.
Captain Hook.
Right.
Nah, boss. I was Tinkerbell. Green slippers,
Superman.
green onesie, foo-foo wings.
Wow, I didn't even see that. Y'all didn't put that up, huh?
Nah,
Nah.
we get it.
I mean, it's they seeing it right
Yeah,
now.
they're gonna see
You know,
it, yeah.
hey, one more
Okay,
time. One more
okay.
time. Here it goes.
yeah.
Right there.
Oh,
Now I got to figure out how to deliver on that technologically, right? Yeah, too easy. What
oh,
about
I
you, man?
didn't trick or treat. I was getting my garage door fixed.
Oh.
I came at like 6.
sounds so adult.
Everybody was gone. Kids coming up. 'Cause
Yeah.
I usually don't give candy. I usually go to like the grandparents' house.
Yeah.
And that neighborhood is full of kids, and they do a trick or treating thing. So I was the only one home. I had my front door open, so here comes 8 kids running up. I was like,
You had no candy
Oh.
on you?
I don't do it. I don't hand out candy. I've never handed out candy. So like they come up to the door, I'm like, shoot.
Did your house get egged, or what'd you do?
No, I walked up. I was like, hey, I don't have any candy. Get my garage door fixed or whatever. And they're like, okay. I felt kind of bad. My kid had some old candy in the pantry, but I didn't have the heart to give them that. So, I had to send them on their way.
Oh man, that sounds like a
I
terrible
should give them a
scenario.
Twinkie or something. But.
Should
See,
give him
if
some
you
dumbbells or
took
something.
pre-workout, you can give him pre-workout samples.
Yeah, that's right.
And just get
yeah.
him going to the next house.
Some
It's
apples
the
in
highest level of
refrigerator.
professionalism is handing out pre-workout to
Yeah,
children.
so now, hey, there's gonna be disappointments in life. I had to teach them a lesson real quick.
Yeah, that's yeah, to quantify that.
Yeah.
Man, we went down to Brook Street. You guys know about that? So right here in Fort Walton. So Brook Street is just it's down on the bay. It's like over behind where Publix is at by the bridge, right?
Oh, okay.
And it's super neat, man. They shut down the street. Like there's so many people, and there's like hundreds and hundreds of kids down there. All the houses are real festive. Like one house, like out of their garage, much better than Jermaine's garage, built a haunted house in their garage,
really?
right? So
That's
like it
cool.
wasn't
That's
super
cool.
intricate, but it was fun, man. You went through and they had a bunch of kids obviously volunteering too, and nothing's creepier than like a 4-foot tall clown with a fake knife. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
To you, my son was not feeling it. My daughter did she did like the I'm not scared and like walk through, so she like faked it till she made it. My son's like, yeah, Dad, you need to hold my hand.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, Daddy's the scariest thing in this haunted house, right? What's up, Rick? And so, yeah, super neat, man. They shut it off. The city shuts off the streets during those times, and man, it's cool. And you know what it's like reminiscent of is like bikes, right? So like
Yeah.
when we could ride bikes as kids, and you can still ride bikes now, obviously, but you know with the pads and everything else, and we make all the same answers to our kids, right? Like, well, I didn't have an iPad. I'm like, yeah, we didn't have iPads, so we didn't play on them. Big surprise. So you had to find something to do fun. But keep your kids active, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like a safe environment.
Yeah, super
it's
neat.
closed down. I didn't even know about it. They don't advertise that, do they?
Yeah, well, they weren't going to tell you in those
Right,
arms.
right.
You know what I mean?
The Air Force Armament Museum, Emerald Coast Science Center,
Okay.
used the Air Force Armament installation, like the building and
Yeah.
whatnot. Inside, they basically made it a haunted house.
Oh, super cool.
So even like the little room was like the AFSOC room,
Yeah.
the briefing room, and then in and around the different bombs and all the pieces, they had different organizations giving out candy.
Very
they had a
cool.
big bounce castle. So the same thing. It was super inclusive, super
Right.
safe. And Kels and I just let the kids kind of run loose, and they
That's
want to
awesome.
go see and touch the same things they've seen full daylight. But now they got like scary stuff
Right.
going on. Like
Yeah.
Right.
they had put a little zombie head on a Roomba and laid
Yeah.
those around. So it was comedic to see
Yeah,
all the kids
that's
the same
great.
size as
Yeah.
them.
Right.
They'd run up and be like trick or treat, and the thing just doesn't make noise and just away. And then they're trying to figure out why this zombie head is not answering them or giving him candy.
That's
Right.
great.
It was awesome.
That's all right.
That's so neat. No doubt, man. That's what's up. I got to do the. We were kind of all dressed like Mad Max thing, post-apocalyptic in the morning, and then it got chilly because the temperature dropped. So Jesse went. What'd that do? Did that shut off?
I think so,
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. All right. Hold on. All right, we're back.
Edit.
Edit. All right, real quick to cue that up again. I I don't know. I guess the GoPro had a timeout on it. But we were up to that point. We're good. Yeah, so we were like dressed all post-apocalyptic Mad Max style. Then the temperature dropped. So Jesse defaulted to I'd rather be warm than look cool. So she sweatered up at that point. And then Brody switched to Harley Quinn. And Slade switched to like Halo. So he was like a Master Chief or Gladiator or Spartan. I think is what they're called, Spartan from Halo. And I'm still in this post-apocalyptic looking outfit. So I throw on like this bomber jacket and I'm like walking around. I'm like, what are you? I'm like, I'm a combat action male model. That's what I switched to. It got some laughs. It was fun.
Oh, okay.
That's it. What you guys got? You guys got training, discussion thoughts? What you got you got anything working out wise?
I'll dovetail off of what we were hitting this morning with nutrition-based ability, right? Action potential, right?
For
So
sure.
if we don't have the nutrients in the system, then the machine doesn't run efficient.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thus, we feel like we have the potential to push through. And then Wednesday we recover, vice the weekend. And I think one of the biggest pieces that people miss is they go, air quotes, beast mode in the gym, where they're actually breaking themselves down for that 69-minute window. And then they probably eat decent. Then they either recover well or not. And then we come back. Now it's after the weekend, Monday, and you got to throttle up heavy strength, big hypertrophy workout, and there's no gas in the tank to get through it. Then now you're paying the man for Monday's workout on Tuesday, Wednesday's recovering on Tuesday, Thursday you feel good because you've had 72 hours of refuel, and the rest of the systems are now catching up to what you've done to them.
Right.
The systems aren't degraded, and now you're able to get through workout Thursday, Friday. And as we said, Saturday, Sunday, you kind of send it because you're not methodical either at work where you have lunch breaks, snack breaks, sit down and eat dinner. You just don't have a consistent timeline.
Yeah.
I think that is probably one of the biggest things that people inherently not fail at, but they default to is convenience. And it's one of the things that when we brief consistency, you have to have a good linear model of consistency to ensure your success.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're saying like making sure that you're still eating at, I don't want to say intervals, but like, because I went through a period to where I don't eat a lot as a default. Like I eat minimal, and then I saw the results of that here. Like, so like when I eat minimal, I don't feel as strong. My energy is terrible. I mean, I'll eat. It'll be like 3 meals a day, but it won't be enough substance there. It'll just be I'll eat my protein. I'll eat some carb, but it won't be enough to sustain me like through the week. So like recently, I'd say recently as in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I've been eating more than usual, and I felt pretty good. I felt strong. Energy's been good. So I'd say just making sure that you're eating enough for the type of activity you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. It's actually kind of like fun, 3 different little probably almost consistencies before you, right? So like Rob is the absolute most consistent. Jermaine is the least consistent.
Yes.
And then I'm feasibly the in-between. And so luckily, obviously, we got this long-form opportunity to say this versus like a short answer. Like this is the worst part. The best part about social media with us trying to put stuff out is you get a lot of interactions, but the worst part is like I'll get asked a question about like this, and you're like, how do I fill that in 60 seconds? So I will try to move along as quickly as I can with this, but try to make it palatable to understand, which is the first question when it comes to diet is your quality, right? So like, are you eating bad foods or are you eating good foods, right? That's kind of how everybody views it. And I would say less about good and bad and more about, is this moving in the direction you want or moving away from the direction you want, right? Because like good and bad's a stupid answer. Like there's no evil foods, right? Like matter of fact, you just get done with a crazy workout, got a long week, and like, you've timed it out. Well, like this cheat meal might be the best thing that would be a bad thing on another day, right? And so what is most optimal? Well, most optimal food is going to be food that has low inflammation attached to it, right? They're low inflammatories, right? They're not the inflammation. They're the catalyst for the inflammation. So they get in and they damage your system a little bit. Not enough to kill you, but enough where your body has to react, right? Kind of like pull-ups don't rip all of the skin off your hand, but they'll take the top layer with it, right? And so inflammatories are the same way in your gut. they're going to damage it up a little bit. And so what's the problem with that? Well, you get some of that to cross over into your bloodstream, and now it starts to congregate at your joints and your organs, and that's not a good look. You're not supposed to have, acid inside your bloodstream. You're not supposed to have all the things that help you break down food from your gut inside your bloodstream. So, like, first question is, before you ever get to like fueling a workout, is from the health standpoint, right? Because it has to be, or there's no longevity. Yeah. So, like, your healthy foods are going to be. And this is like, hopefully I don't hurt too many people's feelings, but if you do your own research, this will be the most accurate statement, which is your highest inflammatory foods is everything that has, I'm going to say it, here it comes, gluten in it, right? Anything that has to do with dairy, and then beans and legumes tend to be kind of your highest inflammatories. Lots of people handle legumes really well, lots of people handle dairy really well, and lots of people can tolerate gluten, but tolerate is kind of like that cousin you have that gets on your damn nerves all the time when you got to go to Thanksgiving dinner. You know what I'm talking about right now. You don't have to say his name, but you know, right? So this dude's getting on your nerves all the time, and you can tolerate him. You're not going to kill him as your cousin, but boy, your environment would be a lot better if he wasn't there, right? And that's gluten inside your system, is that you'll probably tolerate with it fine, but it's not an optimal environment to keep you as healthy as possible and to keep you moving along the way. And if I lost you on that, then skip that shit and listen to the rest of this, right?
So, I eat gluten.
Yeah, he eats all the gluten. In fact, we'll see if we can pull it out of our food and hand it to Jermaine, right?
I'll donate, yeah.
You're good, Rick. Go ahead, man. So he loves the gluten, but again, no, I mean, unless you want huge arms like that. That's actually, those arms are just a byproduct of inflammation. Jermaine's been jacked since he came out the womb. You guys understand. It's not fair. He's got the genetics. He's got the genetics. He works hard and comes every day, that's for sure. But he doesn't eat, so clearly something's going well for him. Yeah, that's right. So then the secondary question is fueling your workouts and really recovering from your workouts, because they're not the same thing. So you can go in and have an awesome workout, and then the next day you feel terrible, and the reason why is because you didn't recover well that day, right? So recovery is still two independent things. It's how much protein you have on board to synthesize all the things that you broke down, and then the second thing is how much energy you have, right? And so the two kind of primary systems is you're either going to use carbs for energy or you're going to use fat for energy, right? And you're going to use both of them at varying levels. But if you want to polarize that, then you reduce your fats down to a level that is just enough for structural purposes, because you need fat for your cells. And then the rest is carbohydrates, right? That's kind of what you do. And then kind of an in between the two is he's just trying to get in enough protein and stuff at this point, kind of main thought.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about how much carbs and fat you take in, or mostly just eat?
Mostly protein, but definitely carbs. I'm trying to control the type of carbs. So
right.
Like my high glycemic.
You mean like ones with less gluten?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, during the week, minimal gluten.
Minimal gluten.
Usually on the weekends, I'll have either pizza or a burger.
That's it.
And that's going to be bread or something. But like during the week, rice is 80% of my carbs.
That's right.
I mean, that's not because I'm trying to be healthy. That's just what I like.
Right. For sure.
Rice is
easy.
And
rice is called glutinous rice, but just for the record, that doesn't mean it has gluten. It means that it sticks, right? So sticky rice, that's what glutinous means. But.
Right. So like at home, like I always have a rice or some sort of starch, some sort of vegetable, and a decent amount of protein on my plate, and that's for everyone. For sure.
And I tell you what, if you're most concerned with like your aesthetics long term, you can crash in every workout, but you don't want to have low amounts of protein, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I agree 100%. So one of the metrics I use when I try and articulate nutrition really, really simple with a tangible number or codified is if we think of a pyramid, right? So 50%. If 0 is no success, it's basically Jermaine not eating and just coming here and crushing it at 5:30. And 100% success is all these 6 variables put together. The first 50% is just getting calories in, just the energy to run the machine. The next piece is the macronutrients, which Jordan, you hit on, like the correct amount of protein just to fix the stuff you're breaking. Fats, the physiological need just to run your hormones and run the cell structure of the walls.
That's right.
And then carbs to use for the energy to get you through the workout. And then for utilization, for all the other stuff you need, cognitive function stuff, the last, the third piece is nutrition timing. So that comes back to these things. Like,
That's
if
right.
I can only eat 3 times a day, but I met the bottom 3, well, then I'm at 80%. I'm 80% by 100%. The last 2 variables just break down to the quality of food, which you hit on, like least inflammation, least gluten, whatever metric works best for your body that it can synthesize and use. The last piece is supplementation and hydration. Why those matter is if you really look at it, just getting the nutrients in, you're at minimum 80% of the efficiency and the health you would be. And then the last piece is drinking water, which inherently we have to do.
Right.
That makes your body process them better.
And salt. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And then you retain the protein to utilize, fix the stuff you're breaking, the fats to run the machine, keep your hormones balanced, and the carbs to fix and run the stuff while you're breaking it, which allows the protein then get properly used. In the absence of carbs, so if you don't take them in, your body starts breaking down that protein, converting it into glycogen to fix the stuff that it has to run, so you're not getting maximal return on the protein you're taking in.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
So just come back to, it's exactly Jordan's point. It's like, what are your goals? Do you want to be super lean and aesthetically pleasing, but in reality you're driving the rental car until its own demise? Or do you want to be healthy and work yourself out of that hole and have a long-term goal of being super aesthetic, super powerful, super performing, and whatever metric you codify against that?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And 100%, like, the biggest thing, the hardest thing probably micronutrient wise to take in is protein, right? It's the most chews, right? It's carbs are easy to eat, man.
Yeah.
Carbs easy to eat, fat tastes delicious, and protein's the most chews. So like if you kind of center your first thought process around how much protein you're taking in and you can keep that number, well then to adjust and take in the right amount of carbs and fats is much easier. You know what I'm saying? So like almost with anybody, if you're trying, and like you can use a pretty easily old school metric. You could do a gram per pound of body weight, right? So like that, if you want to do a little more, you can. You want to do a hair less, you can. But if you're in that ballpark, then you're going to be making muscular gains for sure. And then like he said, to fuel that process, and I like how you put that, Rob, with your pyramid. The supplements are at the apex. They're not on the bottom, right? So, it's in the name, supplement, right? So you're adding to something that you already have a good baseline for. And so, obviously, water and salt, without it, you die. And you got to have your nutrients in order to run at that point. So kind of the 2 energy systems, the fat and the carbs, as we're talking about. So we got the protein, eat it. And why do you have to eat it? Well, it's literally like the blocks that build the house that you're built upon, right? So every single organ needs protein. Every single cell needs protein. Everything needs protein. So you can't malnourish that and then expect your body to want to add muscle when its liver is like, hey man, I need some protein. You got any? I'm gonna go borrow some from somebody down the street, right?
Yeah.
And that's how your organs are gonna do it. And praise God that your body keeps its organs together over its muscle, right? Like we don't always feel like that at times, but I think I'll take a healthy spleen over like another bicep pack. I don't know. Maybe if it's Saturday, you go to the beach with your kids and wife.
Like you have Maine size on.
Trying to show out a little bit. But so get the protein in, and then secondarily, like, so if you're trying, you have aesthetics that you're trying to gain or performance, or sometimes they lie in between the two. With aesthetics, you really want to make sure that you're minimizing your total amounts of fat, right? Yeah. And the reason why is fat is super abundant source of energy, but your body doesn't normally use that energy right away. It ends up just trying to store that energy. All right. I'm gonna grab this charger for this camera, or this computer's about to get dead. Fucking watch yourself.
That's what I do. I do straight up 200 to 205 as it measures, and for my protein, and I use right at 60 because it's my physiological minimum. Mm-hmm. Right at my planning factor is 200 pounds. I weigh 190, just like Jordan. In that I take 0.3 times body weight. That gets me to 60. Right. I then break up my fats throughout the day, mostly just to slow down the breakdown of the carbs. Right. So when we talk the gestation period and like how I can maximize the utilization of my carbs, I then use the fats to slow down the breakdown of them. And then throughout the day, my body basically, the way that we had talked about previous is, if you have one meal, that is you having a full tank of gas to get to your destination. Right. If we do 6, 8 meals, 3 meals, whatever it may be, that's the number of times you have to stop at a gas station to refuel. Every time you stop at a gas station, it keeps your metabolism going. You're inputting something to the system that it can keep using. Right. So you inherently create a super efficient system in doing it when you eat more often, via your metabolism, Krebs cycle, some of the other physiological factors that allow your body to use all those nutrients. Like one big meal, it's not bad. Intermittent fasting's good, but if you want to be performance oriented, it's not really the intent of taking that long car trip to get to the aesthetically pleasing vice, having a good lift or energy to make it through the day.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. And we're speaking like about diets in a vacuum, right? So like meaning optimal scenario. So like optimal scenario is you get the right amount of protein, you get enough carbs to be just enough of a surplus to add muscle and replace high amounts of glycogen in your muscle and your liver, and then not have so much that you store it. And how do we store it? Well, everybody understands that. Generally adipose tissue, aka fat. Right, so the thing is all of your cells are made up of lipids, right? Like the wall of your cell is made up of fat. So like every cell in your body needs fat. You need fat for structural purposes. You just don't need it for energy purposes unless you're using it as your sole energy provider, right? And so it's not that you don't need it. You don't need a giant excess comparatively, right? And then your carbohydrates for most athletes are going to be pretty solid because you're going to be able to operate off of glycogen. And kind of the way you think about it is carbs let you store batteries inside your muscles, and there's a power plant inside your muscle that's going to use fat as well, right? And so when you first start doing something, you got this big power plant that hasn't had time to grind and get this, like if you think about powering up a power plant versus sticking a 9-volt on your tongue, it's ready, it's right there, right? Like bringing it back old school. So when you're going to do something quickly, you want to have batteries on board so you can get what you're done quickly. And then as you have this sustained effort, well, now you're going to start going into the oxidative system, burning your fat and being able to use more of your Krebs cycle and stuff for your energy inside your muscle. So optimally, you got kind of two routes, right? And so this was pretty funny. Like right now, coming off of the 8 weeks of working, I'm just straight on our lean diet, which is more or less like a keto diet, right? Yeah. And the reason why I'm doing that is I could have slowly decreased my carbs, but as we're talking about performance in doing jiu-jitsu as well, I would have been getting leaner for sure. And this is a great idea if you're an aesthetics athlete. You want to slowly decrease and you're not as worried much about your performance. But in the effort of trying to get better at jiu-jitsu and not get strangled regularly, I just decided to switch. I did like a full metric switch from not using carbs at all to only using fat as my energy source to lean out. But that's because it's going to provide me with plenty of energy to sustain efforts, right? And a neat thing with that is like I'm only going to do that till I get back to desired level of fitness, and then I will just reincorporate back to carbs. And so, some people dish on kind of a high fat, high protein style of diet, and it's like, dude, everything is a tool, right? And that's like we're talking about in a vacuum. So if you're somebody that's super busy all the time and you find that you're trying to drag your meals out like pretty regularly, and then you end up skipping meals like crazy, well, for that person outside of a vacuum, intermittent fasting might be perfect because it's such a shorter time period that they can concentrate on getting the food in that time period, right? And so like that's my thing, man. There's no bad diets, there's no good diets, there's diets that you'll do, right? And then really just the word diet sucks anyways. I'm never doing a diet. This is how I'm eating for the outcomes that I want. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure, man. I like that. What else you guys got, man?
Don't look at me. I don't have anything off the dome. I'm piggybacking.
Yeah. Anybody got any off-topic, off-diet stuff?
We got on this fight this weekend.
Man. Masvidal, Diaz.
I like Diaz because he's just.
How do you not like Diaz, right?
I like them both, but Masvidal, he just cracks me up.
He's funny, man.
That's a funny dude.
Super entertaining.
Yeah. And then like he's badass too. So I just like, and he's from Florida, Miami.
That's it.
So
that's
the
it.
reason
FLA.
I say him.
That's it. Man, like I am notoriously bad fight picker actually. So like I got to curse every time I do statistically who I believe should win a fight. I come out on the wrong side of that equation. So a sure thing you can always bet on Khabib. That's a good look. But outside of Khabib, man, this fight. All right, so his knockout on Askren was incredible. I thought it was so well timed.
He did his homework.
He did his homework. Yeah. It was like it's. all right, it's like the example, you got a 6-man team and you're like deep in country and you're starting to get tracked down. Like 6 guys aren't going to beat an army. So what do? Well, you set up like a quick L ambush and you turn 6 guys into the ability to kill 20 guys and then you get off the X, right? So like that's basically what he did with that flying knee is he just set up a quick ambush, put him to sleep, and then didn't have to deal with his wrestling for the rest of the time, right? So, you know, in almost any other scenario, they fight again. Who knows what happens? He clearly won, so props to him, but super impressive. Then the Till fight, Masvidal and Till was honestly piecing him up pretty good, right? And then towards the end, you know, he did like that Tyron Woodley double step, kind of Superman rush punch, and put Till to sleep. That was super impressive. So if you had to give him from a tactical standpoint, he has that. He's not hugely oversized, but neither of them are. And then durable, like he was taking a pretty hot whooping from Till and still managed to not get down on himself and continue to press through. So I think, he's super game. And then if you've ever seen Diaz fight, like there's never been a dude who gets hit in the face more and just is okay with it, right? It's just like,
that's true.
like a yawn here or there. So I don't know, man. I guess I would have to. I think I might have to give it to Diaz. He looks so good against. Who did he just fight? Out of Milwaukee. Dang, I'm drawing a blank. It's out of Rufasport. It's his brother's in the UFC too. He was a champ before, a lightweight champ. Pettis, Anthony Pettis. That's who he. That's and boy.
Pettis is nice too.
Pettis is a good fighter too, man, and he looked incredible in that. So that was. I guess I'll have to go with Diaz on this one. So when I'm wrong, you heard it here first.
Nah, it'll be good regardless.
Yeah, it'd be solid, man. It'd be solid, no doubt. Cool. So let's see. Other kind of thoughts going into the week for peeps is, our background. I guess we didn't get into it. We'll do it on the next one. Talk about where the M came from, how it kind of got how it got rolling. But here's my biggest full thought process for anybody trying to build. What's up, buddy? Hi, baby. You want to come say hi, bro? Come on. Come on. All right. There's Brody. If you guys haven't met her, you can say hello.
Hi.
Yep, that was a little too much in their ears. What's good?
What?
You guys say hey.
Hi.
Let me get out of here.
They're thinking about working out and not looking at the microphone, right?
Yeah.
So the biggest things I would tell people is really our same values, right? So community and consistency kind of hang out, but community lets you be consistent. So find somebody to work out with that's going to help keep you accountable. And if you don't have a person to work out with, coming to a place like the M is a good place to go because you're going to constantly feel welcome. So find somewhere you're welcomed, and when you walk in, you don't feel like you have to kind of establish yourself in the environment you're in, which is super non-productive, right? Number 2 is never quit for us, which is consistency, right? Like that's the key. You don't have to have a perfect diet. You don't have to have perfect workouts. And in fact, those two things are paradoxical. You can't say perfect workout or perfect diet because they don't exist, but you can have consistent. Right, and if you're consistent, you can make small changes. So Rob talks some about his diet, some about I don't want to say my diet, but my life for the next probably 4 to 6 weeks, right? And then I'll be transitioned back over to Carville, right? Yeah. Back where the real fun is enjoyed at. But consistency is king, right? So anything you can do with some sense of consistency, and if you don't have consistency, then make that your next effort, right? Yeah. So you're trying to eat things that help you move in the right direction. You're trying to become a little more consistent in that area. And remember, the never quit means 1% every day. So if your diet is terrible and you make it 1% better, like that's the difference of like picking up one Funyun and putting one Funyun back down. You remember Funyuns?
Yeah. Eating half the bag.
Yeah, half the bag of Funyun is 1%, right? So like you make small victories, and your small victories turns from 1% to 2%. And dude, across 100 days, it's 100% better than where you're at. If you don't have to try to conquer everything 100% change in a day. Figure out what you can do consistently. Y'all come in chatting, you're gonna be on this. That's right. Keep moving. And then last is to have fun, right? That's our last value at the end, which is like, dude, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, you're not going to do it for very long.
You're not going to be consistent.
Yeah, absolutely not going to be consistent, right? So it's kind of like this three-way as like community that cares, consistency, have fun. And if you're not doing any one of those three things, then yeah, dude, it's just not going to be there. You're not going to progress the way you want to. And so these two guys, I've had the opportunity to watch them literally grow through time, both physically and mentally. But neither of these guys were at their current state when they got started. They both have been consistent and they have fun in different ways. Rob is like militantly consistent, and Jermaine is consistent. But his biggest consistency is he comes and does
show up.
Yeah, he puts.
I make sure I show up. I might not be consistent in my eating. My sleep isn't consistent. Nothing else consistent but me showing up and doing something.
Shows up, and where you find the areas in there, you're making that 1% better, like you said, right? So Monday through Friday, a little bit less, and he's just trying to figure out what he's consistent in his life. He's not eating like crap. Trust me, I've been around him for a long time. He just doesn't always eat enough, right?
Yeah.
And so, man, that 3-part series is, early on, one of the first questions we had was, how do you climb out of that slump? You climb out of it like that, man. You concentrate on those 3 areas. Have fun is super important. And so, like, at the end of the day, just stop giving a shit and have fun. You know what I mean? Enjoy what you're doing. It's good to have goals, but don't make the goals your life. Make the goals metrics to help get you where you want to be. That's
What
it.
Batman was that Joker said, why so serious?
That's the Heath Ledger one, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Why
Yeah.
so serious? Don't
That's
take
right.
it so serious. You just enjoy yourself.
That's it,
Work
man.
out.
Enjoy yourself for sure. Awesome. So we're going to sign off here, man. It's been fun. Militia Fitness, JB, Zilla, and the Maine. Booyah, never quit. Now I got to stop this.